Over the past few years, I've ranked over 1,000 blogs #1 on Google. And after working with that type of volume, I know exactly what works for SEO in 2026. And I've narrowed it down to 3 main principles that most people are overlooking right now. And in this video, I'm gonna break them down for you because in 2026, if you're not using these principles, you're going to fall behind. So if you're stuck not getting the amount of traffic you expected, or you're struggling to attract qualified visitors that will turn into customers, this video is for you. Because these are the same strategies that we use to rank companies consistently at #1 on Google, no matter which niche they're in. And I'm gonna walk you through each step so that you know exactly what you need to do to get your ranking from page 3 or 4 of Google up to the #1 spot. Starting with buyer intent, which is just another word for what someone wants when they're searching on Google. See, many people write SEO content on the keywords that they think will attract the right visitors or will be the easiest to rank for. That might have worked to increase your revenue like 15 years ago, but if you want to succeed with SEO today, if you're ranking for something where people aren't really looking for your service directly or the product that you offer, it's going to attract people that are too top of the funnel, meaning they're not going to convert or turn into any revenue or any leads. And that's simply because you're not targeting the right intent. On top of that, Google and AI crawlers know a ton more nowadays on if you're irrelevant to a topic. So if you're targeting irrelevant topics, they're not going to rank you well. Because if you end up attracting people looking for the best accounting software, for example, and you're an email marketing tool, you're not going to find results and you're actually going to get demoted and penalized because a lot of people are just bouncing off your page. Now, the only way to prevent this from happening is to find out if you're actually satisfying the buyer intent on any given keyword. And that means figuring out exactly what your ideal customer is searching for when they're looking for your solution or offering online. So let me show you how this works. Okay, so I'm going to use 3 examples from Klaviyo, which is an email marketing platform. They help e-commerce businesses do their email marketing, SMS marketing, and they have some extra offerings nowadays. But their main product is email marketing. So the first blog I'm going to showcase is this article right here. It is the 7 best email marketing platforms in 2026. If we were to go to Google and search up the best email marketing platforms, what you're going to see is that a bunch of lists of email marketing platforms show up. So if you were to look at the top 3 results, for example, you're going to see a list of 15 best, 17 best, and 8 best. And what that's telling us is that the searcher's intent is that they want to see a list of email marketing platforms. And the reason we know that is because Google tailors their entire search platform to what the users like. So whenever this keyword first got searched up, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, ever since that first search, users or searchers have been curating a list of what they like and what they want to see on this keyword. And it so happens that according to Google's algorithm, the majority of searchers want to see a list of email marketing platforms. So when we dive into Klaviyo's blog over here, they gave a list of the 7 best email marketing platforms in 2026. Now we're going to analyze the actual blog itself to see if it's matching that search intent. So we can see that the first header they're giving off is the 5 things to look for. And then if we keep scrolling, we can see that they have a listicle. This is called a listicle of email marketing platforms, which is where you show a #1, a #2, a #3, and so on. That many options. Now we know that since they're showing these different options, the buying intent is a listicle buying intent, which means that they're matching the listicle buying intent of the SERP, the search engine results page. And the way that we know if they're matching the search intent is if we look, for example, at the #1 ranking site right here, they're giving a list of different platforms just like this. So people are looking for a listicle. This is literally a direct listicle. And if they're ranking #1, that means searchers are happy with that result, meaning the search intent is a listicle. Now, this is where SaaS teams could kind of start to fall apart. And I'm sure Klaviyo, I don't know all their products, I'm sure they have some sort of reason for this. I'm not saying their SEO strategy is poor, but I'm just giving you an example here. This blog is about Yahoo Mail storage changes. So if we were to search up this keyword on Google, we can identify the buying intent and the search intent rather. If you look at the top pages, you see some Yahoo articles that they're putting out. You see like Fox News put something out. And basically it's talking about directly some Yahoo News updates when it comes to like their storage or mail storage changes. So the search intent has nothing to do with email marketing platforms, meaning they're not looking for that offering. And most of these people are probably not even e-commerce companies looking at Yahoo mail storage changes. It's probably just random consumers, random businesses, maybe a slim percentage, like 0.5% are e-commerce people. But now when we go to Klaviyo's article, what we can see is that they're just talking about this as a general news article, because they're not really talking about email marketing platforms at all. They're really just talking about what Yahoo has shipped. They have these like new plans or whatever. You can kind of view their documentation here. They're treating it as a generic press release style article, and they are matching the buying intent in that sense. And then they're actually adding this section about how to adapt in Klaviyo. So they're giving some like list hygiene kind of best practices around Klaviyo. So they tied in the buying intent of the SERP, the search engine results page, to using Klaviyo's product. So if they just came in and they're like, hey, Yahoo mail storage changes, we want to target this keyword, but we're going to talk about email marketing platforms, they're not going to match the search intent, and they will literally never rank on this keyword, Yahoo mail storage changes. So now you have a useless article because you're targeting one keyword, but the content is about a different keyword, and you're not matching that search intent. I'll just show one more example here. This is a 9 best landing page builders listicle, and they go through the 9 best landing page builders. And in this case, they don't even mention Klaviyo at all in this listicle because they're not a landing page builder. Therefore, if they want to match the search intent, they cannot just include Klaviyo wherever they want. They have to actually give a list of the best landing page builders. Because when people search it up and then Klaviyo ranks at number 2, they look at the listicle and then they see that Klaviyo is one of the best landing page builders, and then they go to Klaviyo's product and they see it's not a landing page builder. That's a poor experience. And Google and AI crawlers understand that, and they have always understood that for like the last 10, 15, 20 years. Therefore, Klaviyo, to match the search intent, has to actually match the search intent and the intent of the people, which is looking for landing page builders, not looking for Klaviyo or an email marketing platform. Now, knowing what to do to rank number 1 and actually doing it are two completely different things. So if you want to skip the learning curve and the time investment it takes to do it yourself, you can schedule a call with us using the link below. We've ranked over 1,000 blogs using the same exact strategies that I'm covering in this video. And we handle everything from research to planning to blog production to execution and publishing. So if you're a SaaS founder and you want to see if we could do that for your business, you can book a call below. Either way, once you understand buying intent, the next step is to actually make sure your content is relevant. And this again is where keyword stuffing could have just taken you to the first page 20 years ago. Because as I said, search engine crawlers have become a lot smarter over time. They can easily tell when your content is actually relevant to the search or when you're just stuffing in keywords hoping that that's going to give you good search ranking signals. Essentially, the more relevant your content is, the better chance you have at ranking quickly. And by relevant, I don't just mean matching the content to the given keyword you're targeting. Instead, your content needs to have the single best answer to what someone just searched. Because if someone lands on your blog, for example, and then they realize that your content is not relevant to what they're looking for, and then they leave your page, that's going to tell Google that your bounce rate is high and that you shouldn't be ranked on that keyword. And the more that happens, the more your entire site gets dragged down and your relevancy score goes down. So with that said, you only want to target the most relevant keywords to your offering. Because in the end, that's what tells Google that your content should be shown to more people. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. So coming back to this example of the best email marketing platforms article by Klaviyo, we're going to search up the given keyword, which is going to be the best email marketing platforms. And to find out what searchers want to know about is we're going to look at the number 1 result as an example. You could also look at the next like 2 to 4 results, but we're just going to look at this one for this example. So this is ranking number 1 for a reason. Searchers were happy with the results they found in this blog post. And if we were to scroll down and look at the headers, what we see is that they have a 15 email marketing platforms overview, and then they have another header that is what to look for in an email marketing platform, and then they have the listicle. So if we were Klaviyo, what we would want to do is match that as best as we can and answer it in an even better way. And it looks like they did exactly that. So their first header is the 5 things to look for in an email marketing platform, which exactly matches what to look for in an email marketing platform. And they're literally quoting the director of email marketing. So what that's giving crawlers is an authoritative quotation, an authoritative perspective. And that's one way they're trying to beat out that number 1 result over here by showing that they're more authoritative essentially. But overall, they are completely matching the same exact header, the same exact topic, because that's what they know that searchers want. Apparently searchers want to know what are the top things to look for in an email marketing platform, before even seeing the list of email marketing platforms. And even if you were to go to this number 3 result, Zapier right here, you can see that they're ranking number 3 probably because they're answering the search intent really well. And the search intent happens to be at the second header right here. What makes the best free email marketing service? So this isn't exactly what to look for, but people are still seeing what they should look out for because they're getting what makes the best free email marketing service. And then what we can see here is that these top 2 results, or these 2 out of the top 3 results, both have a very condensed list just like this that go through all of them, and it even talks about their best use cases, which is like free email marketing, marketing automation, newsletters, right? They're talking advanced email marketers, all-in-one marketing sales features. So if I was Klaviyo, or if I was building out this article, what I would do is actually put a small condensed list right here before I talk about the top things to look for. And then one thing that they did do was add those use cases, because what we're seeing is that the use cases are within these platforms, best for starting with email marketing, best for free email marketing. And you see Klaviyo has best overall for e-commerce, best for app first businesses. So all that you need to do to rank on a given keyword and add the right search signals to match the search intent is look at the top results that are already ranking on the keyword, because the top results is going to be exactly what Google wants you to put in your content, just like you see here in this blog. Now that brings us to the last principle, and this is the one that most people underestimate, and that is doubling down on volume. Because no matter how good your blog content is, if you're only posting once per week and your competitors are posting once a day or once every 2 days, you're going to be at a complete disadvantage, and you need to up your volume a ton. If you think about it, 1 post versus 7 posts per week, and every blog you post is a new chance to rank number 1 on a new keyword. So the more you publish, the better chance you have at ranking on the top results. And on top of that, more volume means more data. And that's in 2 different ways. Number 1, data given to Google and search engine crawlers. So the more content you give them, the more data they'll have about your company and be able to rank you and taking your word as you being the authoritative expert on those given keywords. And then the second thing is giving data to yourself. So the more content you publish, the more data you'll have about what actually ranks, what doesn't rank, which keywords pull in conversions and which don't. Having this type of data will allow you to scale your SEO campaign, and imagine your competitors are getting 7 times the amount of data that you're getting. Now, with that said, how much is actually enough? So in the SaaS industry, for example, some niches where you have billion-dollar competitors or competitors putting out 7 pieces of content per week, for example, you're going to want to publish a minimum of 2 to 3 pieces of content per week. In other niches where none of your competitors, or maybe only 1 or 2 of your competitors, are even doing SEO in the first place, you should be fine at a minimum of 1 to 2 per week. But no matter which of those buckets you're in, you want to put out as much content as you can, depending on how many relevant keywords are in your market. Meaning you don't want to limit yourself, you want to keep scaling continuously. But remember, you can't just publish 1 million blog posts, for example. There is a total limit, and it depends on how many keywords are relevant to your market. Because at a certain point, you'll start having to rank for very irrelevant keywords. And we've seen examples in the past on very large companies. When they expand too broadly with their SEO keywords, they actually get demoted as a whole. But for 9 out of 10 SaaS markets, you typically have a minimum of 4 to 5 years worth of SEO keywords to target. It's only the 10% of SaaS markets where your product is way too niche and your SEO market is limited at maybe 6 to 10 months worth of content. And that's the exact 3-pillar system that you need to rank your blogs number 1 in 2026. Now, obviously, just knowing this information won't get you to the top of the results. You also need to know how to implement them the right way. So if you'd like to see the pillars in action and see how we implemented them in a SaaS company to rank the SaaS number 1 on Google in 30 days, you could watch this video next here, and I'll see you over there.